think what's compelling to me, a coyote has a 5 to 10 square mile range. I need him to step on a 3-inch little trap pan. That's the challenge. Tomorrow will be my third check on New York State coyotes. So the last 2 coyotes of the night are in the tumbler, and I'm just getting ready to pack the truck up so I can leave in the morning first thing and be ready to go. So just getting everything I need for tomorrow. More traps, more pipes, more peat moss. Cut these ahead of time. In the truck. I've got a bin over here I put them in. It's so wet that I've been running more pipes than normal just because typical New York weather, we're just getting inches of rain as the week goes by. So I'm going to either build an ark or I'm going to start trapping. So the thing about trapping, unlike other outdoor pursuits, you know, if it rains today and you want to go bow hunting, you don't have to go. Trapping is a commitment, and when you, especially with canine trapping, and certainly coyotes, you don't have that option. You don't have that luxury. You know, once you set traps, it's a long-term game. So I think anyone who rides with me, especially non-trappers, they see how excited I am. It's literally like Christmas every day, but it's even more granular than that. It's Christmas hundreds of times a day. You pull into a field and you look at your traps and you don't have any coyotes and you're slightly dejected. But as you're pulling out, you're already thinking about the next 10 stops, and as you're sitting higher up in the seat as you're driving in, and you're looking every single day, every hour, every minute of canine trapping or muskrat trapping is literally like just like Christmas. And if you, once that becomes innate inside of you, you never lose it. At least I've never lost it. I'm 54 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm considered an old fogey in this pursuit. Something else resonated inside of me about trapping, just like any outdoor pursuit, and I just loved it and fell in love with it, and it's become a lifelong hobby, obsession, passion, whatever, and it's led to everything that I have now today. Tell us it doesn't have very many teeth in it. If you could think about a stereotypical trapper, a lot of them are loners, a lot of them are stoic, a lot of them are quiet, they're not public speakers, and therefore maybe their demonstrations don't play out as well. So for a long time, I've seen an opportunity to teach. Dinner ready?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it out of the oven. Hi. Oh my god, I so don't like my camera. Pictures are taken. Holy god.
You want to be part of Coyote U? Come on,
yeah, but
man.
not that close up. Holy moly. Like,
That's Gina Zagger, the star of Coyote U.
No, I'm so not the star of Coyote U. Oh my god. So not ready for that.
So when I first introduced this to the public, I did it in Trapper's Post in the November-December 2013 issue. And Bob Noonan, the editor, actually wrote an op-ed about it. And then the actual article was the feature of this issue. I'm proud to say that Bob said this is one of the only issues that ever sold out. And this is one of the original copies. It's in mint condition. I'm very proud to still have it. I think the challenge that a new trapper is going to have mainly is just so much information out there. Unlike when I was a kid during the fur boom. No one would tell you anything. They were tight-lipped, and we looked at these guys as demigods walking around town that would tell us nothing, and we were hanging on their every word, and there was no words. They wouldn't tell us. And the books that we had and the information at our fingertips was sparse at best. It was a lot of voodoo-type approaches to trapping and human odor and all those types of things that we've later debunked. That all said, a new trapper is going to need to try to. My recommendation would be to emulate a trapper that they respect and that's had success, and try to follow one guy's approach. Because if you go on YouTube your head will be spinning. There is 100 different ways to make a dirt hole set. There's even a lot of ways to make my pipe dream set, let alone everything else that's out there. So their heads are going to be spinning because of the amount of information out there. And they're going to have to figure out what works for other guys and maybe take a little bit from this guy and a little bit from this guy and ultimately form their own approach to coyote trapping or any type of trapping. And but during that time frame, there's certainly going to be downfalls and there's going to be disappointment. But if you have the right mindset and you have the right attitude, you'll muscle your way through it and you'll be successful. Third check today and need my third cup of coffee at the same time. Can't get through the morning without it. Oh man, looks like a nice day. Been raining for 2 days straight and now it looks going to be 60 degrees and dry today, so the sun shines out. It'll be unusual to see the sun so early, so let's see what the day has for us. My chaps on. These aren't about human odor, I just wear them to keep myself dry a little bit. So today's the third check. The last 2 days have been okay. I got over 100 traps out now on I think 38 locations if I did the math right. So it's been a little slow because of the weather, so today hopefully it'll be a little better day. I usually try to get 6 or 7 coyotes a day, and I hit that the first day, but I didn't quite hit it yesterday, so ever the optimist, trappers are. That could only mean there could be more today. That's what we always think. This is why we keep doing this. I started doing this in 1976, and I guess I'm still an optimist, so we'll head on out. It's going to be a high of 60 today, so I don't have to dress like I normally do. No rain gear needed, which is really unusual. So at minimum, it'll be a beautiful day. Another bridge pinch point location. And it all just kind of comes together down here. It's like spokes of a wheel. There's a bridge that crosses a diversion ditch down here, and 3 roads lead to it, and a bunch of crop changes, and it all meets right here, and that's where I have traps waiting. Oh, there's a big hole in the ground. There's a coyote. See him? Second stop and have this big coyote. He's looks like a big gnarly male, an older coyote for sure, an adult. This is a pipe dream set. The pipe is laying over there. He pulled it out and chewed it up. You can see it on the edge of the catch circle over there. But again, the reason this set works so well is because of the mud and everything that you see here in the rain, and it just keeps working no matter what. So this was a pipe dream set. Took care of that coyote. This was the pipe. He chewed it up a little bit, you can see. But I can go ahead and reuse that. I'm going to put it right back in. A lot of times I can't remake this set because it's so muddy, but this one's dry enough that I think I can put it in and make it look halfway decent. So this trap, you can see it's got mud caked in it, but I can reuse this. I've got other traps here, so if this one gets a little dirty, I have other clean sets working here, but I changed the pan tension to make that for coyotes. That way I avoid non-target catches, possum, skunks, those types of things. This is the steel screen that was on this trap. You can see he chewed it all up. There's saliva and sometimes there's blood on that. I usually just tuck it back in here. If I throw it out there in the road, they might be attracted to that and not come all the way into the set, believe it or not. So I got to rework this bed. By working that chain, he kind of rounded it out, so I got to square it off, get that jig trap back down in there. So I've hammered out that bed. down inside of it. Now I'll pinch it in place with my hammer again. That trap is now rock solid. Ain't going anywhere. When I started Coyote U in 2016, I had already been an instructor at some other schools, and some of those schools still exist, some of them are gone. A lot of guys that come to Coyote U are not necessarily fur trappers. They're ADC, animal damage control guys, that have nuisance wildlife businesses that really have struggled with coyotes and coyote trapping, and frankly, they walk away from those opportunities because they don't have the confidence. I think there'll be a time in the next 20, 30 years where maybe there won't be fur trapping anymore because we're getting hammered from every angle. You know, California just lost the right to even own or wear fur in the entire state. This was caught in a PD, which is pipe dream. I used gator oil and P. And I caught a red fox and I just added P to it. P stands for red fox P. It's just that simple. It's kind of cryptic, but I know what it is. But these are all my notes for the 100+ traps I have out right now. And I keep track of my catches, and I look back at the end of the year and figure out which smells worked for me, which ones didn't, which sets worked, and which locations did. So just something I do. This is kind of a neat spot. I can actually glass this from here, especially on a sunny day like this, and kind of look with the binoculars and see if there's anything there. Oh, there's one there. I can see him from here moving around. All right, we got to drive out and get him. That's pretty cool. Later in the day here, 4th coyote of the day, 2 red fox. Looks like a real nice one. Another pipe set. I see my pipe sticking out of the ground there. And again, I'll be able to remake this one. It's dry enough that I can remake the set. I got a second set over here. This is a really cool location. There's a stone pile in the middle of this field, and all these crop changes meet here. And I've been trapping this for a long time, and everything just comes here, so all the spokes of the wheel meet here and the coyotes come here. They're hunting mice, they're hunting rabbits, and it's just a great spot. And there you go, another coyote. Right back in as a pipe set and keep it going. So we'll go ahead and remake this pipe set. It's pretty unusual that I can put these back like I've been putting them back today, but you know, we've looked at a lot of traps that haven't been successful, and that's coyote trapping. That's a game of percentages. The guy who runs the most miles and runs the most traps and keeps them operative is going to win. And we've covered a lot of miles today, and we're still not done, but certainly don't want anybody to get the impression that we've looked at 8 or 9 traps here. Right now I have 100 out, and no matter how good you are, you look at a lot more empty ones than you do. Gina sometimes laments the fact that it's a beautiful fall day and we're not apple picking or we're not pumpkin picking because I'm out getting ready to get ready for trapping. All right. See you.
That's right down.
Okay. Bye. Love
Bye.
you. Love you.
Oh
Don't get it stuck because I'm not in 4-wheel drive because I'm talking to my wife. There we go. Got it. She always tells me she can tell if I'm doing well or not by the sound of my voice when I answer the phone. So I guess when I am not doing great, I don't sound as happy and jovial as when I have many coyotes in the truck. So I guess today we're somewhere in the middle. I'm lucky and I'm blessed to be married to Gina because not a lot of other people would probably tolerate what I do every year. So. That said, the coyote has changed our lives. I gotta, 2 of them are snapped off for some reason. I don't know why. It might be deer snaps, so I gotta remake them. Put it right in the pipe. If you have the ability to trap coyotes or beaver, you can meet as many people as you want because they're door openers. And then if you're an outdoorsman and you like to hunt, if you want to bow hunt there, it probably increases the chances if you take the beaver out for the guy. If you want to turkey hunt, if you trap coyotes for them, it probably helps. So coyotes and beaver are door openers for sure. And I think for the rest of eternity, the ability to control those animals is going to be needed. We're going mud running here a little bit. You gotta give her some gas. You gotta go to where the coyotes are. I got 4 traps here, some bank sets. I probably should bring the gun. The guy gotta go around the corner. That'll be the kiss of death if I bring it. Never been unwilling to try different things or new things, and I've always been trying to adapt and tweak my methods and learn from other people. I've never been afraid to spend money myself to take lessons from other people. Here's the trap bed. Oh, there he is back there. He's hiding back there. He's on a drag. There he is. That's cool. That's coyote number 5 today. So we're still getting them in the truck. These animals are the ultimate survivor. You know, they're in Manhattan now. They're in Central Park. When I was a kid growing up in Ohio, there was no coyotes, and now they're everywhere there. Indian lore says that when the world ends, there's going to be 3 animals left on Earth: the coyote, the raven, and the cockroach. And if you really think about it, those are all survivors. Just pound this shock spring down in there where it was before. Where we turned around up there, that ditch keeps going to the north, and there used to be a little sign, a little metal sign in there that said headwaters of the Susquehanna River Valley. This little diversion ditch was the start of the Susquehanna River. I thought that was kind of interesting. Everybody in the world's lobbing arrows at them and bullets and helicopters. They do all these different things to control them, yet here they are. There's always going to be a need to control coyotes because of that. So when people say that they hate coyotes, even trappers, I laugh to myself because I'm the total opposite. Trapping coyotes and my pursuit of that end game, frankly, it's changed my life. I just put these in yesterday. I have a pipe set here and a T-bone set down there. And if you look down here, you can see where my trap bed is or was. And the coyote is actually up there on the hill. He's on a drag on a long chain. And he's a good looking, gorgeous coyote. But I drag a lot of coyotes, and here's an example of one. So we'll see if we can take care of him. He's on a long chain, so it's always interesting. And remake the set. I have so much respect for this animal, and man, I love coyotes. They have changed my life in a lot of different ways, and all for the better. This is a coyote that's 150 yards off the road. You know, everybody thinks you gotta have thousands of acres. I'm trapping these coyotes where they are. The coyotes are the ultimate adapters, the ultimate survivors, and how can you not respect that? I have a lot of respect for these animals, but I also appreciate the nice ones when I catch them, and he's a nice one. Just tell by the size of his head. Adult male in his prime. Today on Pipe Dream sets, I actually want to show you how I do one start to finish. I'm going to put in a new set and show you soup to nuts on how I do it. 4 swipes, I dig out a perfectly square sod plug that I pop out of the ground. And the thing that guys always do wrong is they make their trap beds too big. I make this bed smaller than the Jake trap. So I want to square this bed out, but this bed is only probably 4.5 by 4.5. I don't want to make this bigger than the trap. When I get done with this hole, I'll show you what I have here, and I'll also show you that it's smaller than the jig trap is. My bed is actually almost 4 or 5 inches deep. So this trap won't fit down inside this hole right now. It's close, but it won't fit in there. The levers will prevent it from going down inside, and that's what you want. You don't want to have 2 inches of gap around this thing, because I'm going to hammer this into position. Just using a cable stake. This is actually a Berkshire. These were left over from a Kansas trip. They'll actually work in New York. The Pipe Dream set is just a result of innovation on my and me trying to come up with an approach to trapping coyotes successfully in numbers in an area that is not conducive to that. So my stake's in place, I set it, and now I'm gonna put the trap back in the bed, and I'm gonna bed it by simply pounding around the outside of the top of the ground and pushing in that dirt and pinching that trap into place. I mean, I'm literally pushing on it, and this thing, nothing's moving. The jaws aren't moving. This thing is rock solid because I've pinched in the dirt. I've compressed that soil and the roots in this hay and grass, and I've used that to my advantage to pinch that trap in place. Coyotes and coyote trapping is kind of the pinnacle of the game in our world, and to get good at that is to be a 1%er in that game's tough. The Pipe Dream is just not about the pipe. This steel screen is a very important part of this set. I'm going to use this on my trap. It allows moisture to go through and allows moisture to come up. Moisture is never static in Mother Nature, even water evaporating out of the ground, let alone going down. So this steel screen will support my material. It'll support my grass that I'm going to put on this without caving in after 2 or 3 inches of rain. Look at some of these guys, young or old, that have come to me for help, and I've seen their success. That's my success too. I was there. I remember what it was like. Guys use way too much covering, you know. That's all I need. Just that small amount is all I need to cover that trap. That little handful I used, I mean, if you look down here, I mean, there's my steel screen. There's very little material on this, and after it rains, this will sink right down. Yeah, you know, new trappers, me being one of them a long time ago, there's a lot of trial and error to this game. The coyote comes in, or fox, this is going to be down even further, and it's just going to be a natural place to step as they smell your pipe and work your bait or your lure. Now we are into the pipe. The pipe is just a piece of Schedule 40 rigid conduit, 1 inch inside diameter. I cut them in 9-inch lengths. Again, this is not a visual set. When I walk away from the set, I don't want to see the pipe. The reason I make it 9 inches long, because I want 2 inches sticking out of the ground and I want 7 under. So I want to be 9 or 10 inches from my tractor to my trap pan. So I know my pan is right there. So I'm going to go into this grass tuft back here about that far, so you can see the distance from there to there, and then I'll just pound it in right here. And you can see that there's only 2 inches sticking out if I push this grass away, pull it away. So now we're gonna bait it and put urine on it. So I use a simple icing spreader to apply my bait and lure. This is a Bill Nelson Bobcat formula that I like a lot. And you don't use a lot, you don't need to. That pipe will protect your stink and your smells and protect it inside that pipe no matter what happens. So I've baited the set now. I give every set a shot of urine. So I just use Red Fox urine and give it a shot right at the base of the pipe. I don't put it in the pipe, but right at the base. I want their nose to go right to the pipe or right to the base of the pipe, whether they're smelling the urine or the bait, because their feet will follow their noses. Again, I like to hide that pipe, not that they're afraid of it, but just it creates some intrigue. It's not meant to be a visual set, so I pull this grass back right over top of the pipe. So when I walk away and I stand up over there, I don't see the pipe anymore. And again, I don't think they're afraid of it. It's just the way I like to do it. I had 31 coyotes, I believe, that went over the $100 mark. So a lot of Coyote U is about fur handling and proper put up. And a lot of people have left here saying that alone was worth the price of admission. They made their money back from the tuition just in the first year of fur handling on coyotes. Not the best day, not the worst day. 5 coyotes, 2 red fox. All of them I think were in Pipe Dream sets or T-bones. I showed you guys how I make a Pipe Dream set, but Coyote U is about so much more than just the Pipe Dream set. Our program, my program, incorporates a lot of different aspects, and it's just one little piece of the pie. But come on up to Coyote U. Gina and Mark Zagger would love to have you. We have you at our place. We come out back here for meals, and we're up at the house and in the barn, and I think you'd really enjoy it.
For more information on class schedule and limited openings, please visit us at www.coyoteu.com.